like I feel like people sometimes almost think that it would make them lesser because they have to go seek health about, something through mental health. But, I think it's actually the opposite. Like, I think it takes a lot of courage, and you have to be, really strong to kind of reach out and, I guess, work with someone who, is more qualified than you in it. And, again, like, there doesn't have to be anything wrong, or there doesn't have to be an issue to reach out. But, I think for it to be viewed more so as an asset, whether it's in work, whether it's in professional sports, and whether it's just in your life, an asset to relationships, an asset to, just how you live your life. So I think that would, for me, be the biggest thing.
My name is Dr. Matthew Chow, and I'm Chief Mental Health Officer at TELUS Health. I have the privilege and honor of speaking with Simon Becher today from the Vancouver Whitecaps FC. We're going to talk about mental health, resilience, and a bunch of other things relating to success in professional sport and in life. So thanks so much, Simon, for joining me today.
Yeah, of course.
So just before we started, you mentioned that you're going to travel to Italy. So tell me a little bit about that. That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that I love to do is to travel, to see new experiences, and I don't know, just kind of explore new cultures. So yeah, my girlfriend and we're going to travel to Italy, and just kind of explore, go down the coast, end up in Sicily, and just kind of enjoy some time off.
Amazing. And I wish you an awesome time there. Italy's just such a phenomenal place to see and visit, and people and culture and food. Next question. Let's talk a little bit about mental health. And what does mental health mean to you?
Yeah, I think for me, being a professional athlete, obviously, a high stress environment, something that's extremely physically demanding. I think, mental health is something that's not always talked about. And I think, for me, it's, just having the peace of mind that, I'm enjoying my life. And, one big piece for me is trying to separate work from the rest of my life. And so, I think, football is such a unique career that, it's something that, you can always talk about when you go home, your family and everyone always wants to talk about it. But for me, I think, like, trying to separate that sometimes, and, just, kind of finding a good balance between work and, the rest of your life is, something that, for me at least, is really big.
It's interesting you mentioned that balance. So that's something that comes up a lot in mental health and in my work as a doctor is work-life balance. And basically you just described it, right? So there's work, there's the part of being pro-athlete, and then there's life, there's the rest of life too. So how do you tackle that balance? Because it's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. For me, one thing that I really enjoy doing is just, finding small hobbies. And, when I come home from work, a lot of it is, obviously taking care of your body, but also taking care of your mind, whether it's just, playing chess, journaling, reading, and, going and sitting at a coffee shop with my girlfriend, or going on walks. A lot of things that, or that's actually something I recently started doing, was just leaving my phone at home. And, sometimes my girlfriend and I will go on a walk for an hour, 15 minutes, and just leave our phones at home. And even if I'm not on it, it's something that I've actually found is, like, super helpful. Just, not checking it, not having the constant worry in the back of my mind. Oh, like, is this notification for me? Did someone text me? And, I've actually found, I think small ways kind of like that to, I guess, clear my mind and, keep, work and other things, separate.
You've hit upon a really important insight, and actually it's backed up by, like, scientific literature, that even just having your phone in your pocket distracts you. Like, even if it's not turned on, even if it's not sending you notifications, it just distracts you. And that's definitely true when people are trying to sleep, for example. Like, I often tell people as a physician, keep your phone outside of your room, or at least, like, in a box or something, so it doesn't distract you. So So you go out on dates and you leave the phone at home.
Yeah. I feel like it kind of, like, helps you stay a little bit present as well. Like, stay in the present moment, and, even within work and within football, like, that's super important on the field, just staying present. And I feel like it's like a small practice for me almost.
Yeah, a small practice, but it sounds like it pays like pretty big dividends. Let's talk about being in the moment, because you mentioned this is critical for you as a pro player. Tell us a little bit more about how you stay present, especially when there's just a lot of stuff going on around.
Yeah. I think, and I think a lot of people who are professional athletes can kind of relate to this, but I think it's one of the hardest things like in sports to do because, at some moments you're at a super, super high, and some moments, you can feel like, you're the only person in it with sports. And, I think kind of staying present and just trying to find confidence in your ability and, yeah, whether it's a bad day or a good day, like kind of understanding you're going to have both of those with your performances and all of that. So, if you can just try to stay present and, obviously when you talk about it, it sounds super, super easy, but, I think it's one of the toughest things to do in sports and I guess in life as well, but.
Oh, for sure. I mean, can you remember a time in your life where it was really hard to stay present, and what you did about that?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm sure, like, I don't know how much you know about our season and stuff, but like, I had, a stretch of really, really good games where I was scoring all the time. And then, towards the back half of the season, not getting as much playing time and, not getting as many minutes. So, like, for me, just kind of just continuing to work hard and, not trying to listen to external factors or, other things and just trying to, I guess, keep the routine of work and, keep doing the same things and, regardless of like the results and what's been going on, like just try to like, I guess, keep your mind clear and keep the confidence in yourself. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of pushing into other things, but like being present, not being like results oriented, like all things that I think are like, on paper easy to do, but in the moment it can be really, really difficult.
Yeah. Actually, I like this path that we're taking when we're talking about that. We've heard from a lot of your colleagues about the importance of the day to day, having a routine. So can you let's double down on that one a little bit. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I think, in sports, like there's so many things that are intangible and so many things that, you could be doing everything right and you can still get injured. And, all of a sudden you're out for 2 months or, you could be doing everything right and the results may not be coming or you may not be playing as much. So, I think one of the ways to just continue to grow and continue to, I guess, get through the harder times is just nailing down a routine, something that works for you, something that works treatment wise. So you're always taking care of your body, so you're avoiding injury. So, and then on the other side of it, like I feel like a big part of it is, building in time to get away from it and time, because without the routine, I think, sometimes you can get lost and even small things, can start to build up. And yeah, I think like having a routine and a lot of guys, have also, I guess, backed this up, but, having a routine can really keep you sane in a lot of moments.
Yeah. And that's so crucial, right? Is like having a way to regularly take care of your body and your mind, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Right? So you are taking good care of yourself. Talk to me a little bit more about taking care of your mind, that side of it. So what do you do to take care of your mind?
Yeah.
Keep it in top condition.
I try to journal every day. I try to spend, like I said, try to spend time without my phone, whether it's away from my apartment or at my apartment. Try to spend at least 30 minutes to an hour without my phone. I try to build in other hobbies. One thing I really, really do enjoy is going for walks. So, my girlfriend and I, we go for walks and kind of, just get away, just get some fresh air and just kind of, whether it's, going to sit in a park or just, walking to walk with not really any plan. But, I know some people really, really enjoy reading. It's something I've been trying to get into a little bit more. That's one of the tougher things for me is like sitting down and opening a book and just, reading. I don't know. It's not one of my favorite things, but I'm trying. But yeah, just trying to, do small things that I enjoy, that I feel like kind of, get me away.
Yeah. Well, something that you just illustrated with your answer is that one size doesn't fit all, right? So some people love reading and that's their thing, and that's how they take care of their mental health. But for other people, like they can't sit with a book for more than like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
My own brother's one of those people. And so going for a walk, actually there's a lot of scientific evidence that says that using your body that way, going for a walk, going for a run, doing something physical actually helps with your mental health. And it turns out it's because our minds and bodies are connected. You just can't separate them. And so
Yeah.
when you're going for that walk with your girlfriend, you're actually doing something good for your mental health that way.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. What kind of supports do you get as a player? Like if you are struggling with your mental health, let's say?
Yeah. We have a team psychologist here that we can work with, and I know that, if I came and said like, hey, I want to go see something or see someone and talk about things. I know like we're always entitled to that. Like the club will reach out and they'll help arrange that for us, which is really helpful. I've been working. It's actually something I started later this year. A teammate of mine and we know the same guy. He's a sports psychologist, and I'd used him before in college, and he knows him in a completely different way. And so I've met with him once or twice this year, and it started to help me and just kind of someone to bounce ideas off, someone to talk about everything, not just sports but life. Any other issues. So yeah, the club's been really, really good, giving us those resources. And again, like we're really lucky here. The team's so close that, even the guys on the team, we have such a tight-knit group that talking to someone who's in the same situation, sees the same stuff every day. Yeah, just really good mentors here. So yeah, and anywhere you turn, they're there to help.
Yeah, that's something I've actually noticed about this team. There's a depth of experience, like life experience in this locker room. Like everyone has just been through a lot, like a lot of different things, and so it's almost like anything that you can think of, like a challenge that someone could go through. Someone here in this club has been through that, and so you can talk to them about that. Can you demystify, what it's like to talk to a sports psychologist for a moment? Because I think sometimes people have a traditional idea of like what getting support for mental health looks like. Like you sit on a couch or something and you talk to your therapist.
Right.
But what is it really like?
Yeah. No, like for me, it's someone that, you can really just talk to about anything. And, who I work with, he's very, very good. And then, just continues, to ask me questions. And, it's more of a conversation. It's not, me coming to him with my problems and him giving me the answers. It's, talking about like a lot of it is, understanding that you're going to have emotions, you're going to have reactions to things, and, knowing that that's going to be normal, and, finding a way to, stay present through gratitude, through, one thing that, we've been working on is, when you do something, that's hard, that's going to help you, whether it's eating healthy, whether it's doing something good for your mental health, whether it's doing prehab when you're or rehab, working on your body when you're really tired. You just take that and you put it in the cookie jar. You go and you do extra runs and you take that and you put it in the cookie jar. And then when you're feeling low, when you're losing confidence, he just tells me, look back at that cookie jar. Look at all the work you put in, and these are the reasons you have to be confident. These are the reasons you're here. These are the reasons you're going to continue to succeed. And, for me, that's something I'm working on now is, continuing to take all that hard work, all the sacrifice, and putting it away for later. And then, you can go back and you can look at that. But no, for me, it's been really helpful. And, it doesn't even have to do with sports. He talks to me about life. He talks to me about, getting away from sports and, just how to balance my life and establishing a routine and things like that. So more of a conversation, and I can, bounce ideas off of him. And, he kind of gives me, I guess, things to think about, and then I come back to him and talk to him again. And so for me, we have a good relationship, and it's more just a conversation, not really.
Great. Well, that's amazing, 'cause what you've just shared with everybody is like what modern mental health support looks like, right? It's about having a conversation. It's about give and take, right? It's not just about giving you advice about what to do, but also helping you figure out what's best in your situation. Also, it sounds like it's inspired some confidence, like more confidence in you, and also made you reflect on how much hard work you have done and how valuable
Yeah,
all of that
and
is.
a big thing is like you don't necessarily need to have an issue or have a problem to to reach out and to work on things. And a lot of it is even understanding why you do stuff, and why this is good, or kind of yeah, just finding out a little bit more, like what can help you, and what you can get better at. Like when I reached out, I didn't necessarily have any issues, or
Yeah.
he was like, just talk to me through your day, like what do you enjoy, and just finding the things to I guess really find joy in life and away and on the field, and just kind of rooting yourself back in gratitude. So yeah, I would say like you don't necessarily need to have an issue to be working with someone and to be talking with a psychologist.
So I am going to highlight that point, that you do not have to have an issue before you talk to somebody. That is probably one of the most important messages that we could share today. Because there's a lot of folks, and I see this as a doctor all the time, they wait until like things are like really, really, really bad, like they're almost dying, before they go and get help. And that can be true for physical things and mental health things. But you're saying, and the literature supports this, what we know about modern mental health supports this, that you don't need to wait until you have an issue before you go and get some help and support.
Yeah.
It can actually be very helpful before you have
Right.
issues. And it could be even helpful, as in your case, when you're performing at the top level, some of the best in the world. Even for folks like that, it could be helpful to have someone to bounce ideas off of, and to give you tips on being even more successful.
Right.
What more could be done, do you think, in sport to support people with the mental health aspect of things?
Yeah, I think we touched upon it a little, but I think the biggest thing is just kind of like you said, like demystifying, I guess, any stereotypes or anything around psychology. Like, oh, you're seeing a therapist, you're seeing a psychologist. Like something has to be wrong. I think it's more of an asset. Like I think like I was talking to someone on my team, and he said like, over the past couple years, like I've just been building a team around me of people I trust and people that can help me with things. And so I think that's the biggest part. The same way you develop your game, in the same way you need to work on your body, and you need to have a good lifestyle. It's an asset that can be used to, I guess, help improve your game and help just improve your life in general.
That's amazing, advice to share, and insights to share. I hear that a lot in the world of work as well. I work with high performing executives, and one of the best pieces of advice I ever heard about how to help executives perform at an even higher level is get a coach. Like talk to somebody about things outside of work. Talk to somebody about your habits. Building a routine. Right. And so that's in the world of executives and work, but I think that can be applicable to people more broadly as well. What do you think about using digital services for getting mental health? Like, seeing a therapist online or by video or by phone. What do you think about that?
No, I think it's really good. I kind of went through college in the time when everything had to be digital because of COVID. So my office hours were digital because of COVID. I took a lot of tests online. So
Wow.
I feel like I'm like pretty used to doing things online. So, and I think the biggest part is like accessibility. And if it's easier for people to access, I think it's even better. And if that will I guess inspire people to give it a try and work on their mental health, then I think it's a great thing.
What was it like doing college online? That is a relatively new phenomenon, right? We basically had to flip the switch when COVID started and move everything online. We moved healthcare online. We moved education online. What was that like?
It was definitely different, but No, I mean once I got used to it, it was pretty easy. A lot of meetings. I think the hardest part was not being distracted, being in my apartment because having a game on in the background, the teacher lecturing, and being on your phone. But once you kind of got past that part, it was good.
Yeah. These days, I think we spend so much of our time online and digital that it kind of makes sense that, education's online and then mental health support's online too, right? It's
Right.
just like, it's just natural. Like that's how people do things. If there, if you had one message for people about mental health, something, an insight that you've had in your life, something from maybe a low point that you've experienced in your life that you got through, what would that one message to people about mental health be?
I would say that I'd just say like I wouldn't be afraid to I guess work on it. I think a lot of people, it's unfortunate that there's such a stigma and stereotype and just around it. Like we spoke about, like people thinking they need to have an issue or if something, like to go to someone who's a professional in mental health, you have to have a problem. And I feel like people sometimes almost think that it would make them lesser because they have to go seek health about something through mental health. But I think it's actually the opposite. Like I think it takes a lot of courage and you have to be really strong to kind of reach out and I guess work with someone who is more qualified than you in it. And again, like there doesn't have to be anything wrong or there doesn't have to be an issue to reach out. But I think for it to be viewed more so as an asset, whether it's in work, whether it's in professional sports, and whether it's just in your life, an asset to relationships, an asset to, just how you live your life. So I think that would, for me, be the biggest thing.
Wow. What an amazing life-giving message. There was a bunch of messages in there. There was a message that you don't need to have something wrong with you to get support and help. It's actually a show of strength. You mentioned that it takes courage too to reach out and get support, and it doesn't mean that you're weak. So I think that was a really, really crucial message there as well. And you really normalized the idea of mental health. Mm-hmm. I might go back and review something that you mentioned too about the stigma. Mm-hmm. So what do you think about mental health stigma? Because it sounds like you might have seen it or heard about it, or even maybe experienced it yourself at some point.
Yeah, I think at least the stigma or stereotype around it is, unfortunately, like in the news, I feel like whenever you see mental health, it's usually related to violence or it's related to, something bad that's happened. Oh, this person has a mental health issue or something along those lines. But no, I mean, everyone, has some level of mental health and, it's something that I think everyone should be working on. Everyone should be, implementing practices in their life. So, I don't think like people always use it, I guess, like in relation to like, oh, this person has like a mental health issue. But, everyone has a level of physical health and mental health. Mm-hmm. So, I think, almost like, a lot of people put so much effort into their physical health, but not much into their mental health. And I feel like, you should be putting at least both into it.
So take it from this pro player that just as much effort as we put into physical health, we need to invest in our mental health as well, because that is such a critical message. And, I appreciate your insights too about the media portrayal of mental health. Sometimes it is pretty negative, isn't it? Right? They're talking about like, this person that had mental health issues did that, or there's this violent episode or whatever. And it is crucial for people to realize that that's actually still very, very rare. And actually, even in my career, the vast, vast, vast majority of people I've treated, even at the most acute phase of mental health issues, never commit violence. If anything, the highest risk, for people that are experiencing a serious mental health issue is actually hurting themselves as opposed to other people. So I'm glad you highlighted that. Thank you for sharing all these wonderful messages about mental health and being a little bit open and vulnerable with me about your own experience. And then that great advice about emphasizing mental health just as much as physical health, and then having a routine too, right? I actually just as like people go for a run or do go to the gym and have a physical routine, that they should also have maybe some kind of mental health routine to make sure that they're staying on top of their game. So my name is Dr. Matthew Chow. I'm Chief Mental Health Officer at TELUS Health. I just had an opportunity to interview Simon Becher, and it's been an absolute privilege and honor to speak to you about mental health today.